So I've been asked a question a lot, is this a good time to buy a house or not? Well, now is as good of time as any because interest rates are starting to get cut, mortgage rates are being reduced faster than we thought. On the flip side though, that means the economy is doing worse than we expected. Interest rates are forward-looking as usual, and what most economists are saying is that rates are going to keep coming down until probably late 2025. Now, will mortgage affordability improve in Canada? I don't believe it will. What we've seen in Toronto is that there is more household wealth tied to housing. Over time, more and more of our wealth is being put in our home. And there are two problems with this. First, what you're putting in your home, you're not putting into your retirement. And second, there's not that much room for housing price appreciation. So if you look, for example, at price to income ratio across Canada, right now it's at probably 8 times. So essentially, if you're a dual income household, the house is still going to be 4 times higher than what both of you are bringing in. So if you're looking at Toronto, for example, compared to Canada, it's between 11 and 12 times, so higher than across the whole Canada. As interest rates are cut again and again, banks are going to allow households to borrow a bit more because the cost of borrowing is coming down. And with the gap between the gap between housing demand and supply, prices will probably go up. It's inevitable. It's kind of crazy to think we've gone from a policy rate of 0.25% to 5%, and we've seen a drop in prices that was 10 to 15%. This means there's an issue with housing supply. So now is as good a time as any because home prices are definitely not coming down. I believe we reached the rock bottom at this point. Downsizing in today's market is on top of mind right now for a lot of Canadian retirees. And some of them come from big families and now they're empty nesters. They don't need as much space. They're also getting older. Having to maintain these large homes doesn't make a lot of sense in a lot of cases for them. So you are seeing that uptrend in retirees wanting to move to more of a condo lifestyle or an apartment where they can travel and not have to worry about who's taking care of their homes. Now, we're also seeing a gradual impact in the decline in fixed and variable mortgage rates. Recent rate cuts are having an impact on affordability. Mortgage rates came lower, making it a little bit easier for a lot of buyers to get into the market, and we've seen this in the past couple of months. Now, at this point, we have a decent amount of inventory, so we're not expecting a flood of buyers' demand, just a slight increase. Things have been relatively balanced in the fall. Summer was, of course, much slower. We will see what the new year is like, but keep in mind that it will all depend largely on what's going on with our economy, with changes in the US and other factors. Lower rates will stimulate demand, but if there are concerns about unemployment picking up and the economy not doing well, that could impact buyer sentiment, which could take some buyers out of the market, of course. Buyers should not base their home buying decisions, like I always say, on what's going on in the market from 1 month to another or next week to the next, 1 week to the next. It's a long-term decision. I always say buy when you're ready and focus on buying the right home rather than trying to time the market perfectly. Will never happen. You must be extremely lucky for it to happen. We don't know if prices will be higher or softer in the next 6 months. You cannot control that, but periods when there is more inventory and less competition are generally less stressful times to buy. Usually, the market in Toronto is quite frenzied and is very competitive. In the summer, things, like I said, have cooled down, but sales definitely picked up in October and November. Now, declining interest rates will move buyers back into the market for sure. Economic concerns will dictate how much that growth actually stimulates the market. We may see just modest growth if conditions worsen, which is partly why the Bank of Canada today is cutting rates a little aggressively. They're concerned about a weakening economy, of course. As for condo market, unless you buy to live in it, buying a condo for investment is out of question at this time. There's plenty of newly built condos flooding the market, and the prices of condos are only going to keep coming down until it might take a few years until everything clears up. And with the certainty of continuous rate drops, variable rates are recommended over and over again now. People will end up with a mortgage rate of probably between 3 to 3.5% by the summer of next year. That's probably as good as we're going to get with mortgages. In Ontario, they've essentially quit building new low-rises. For the last few years, there have been fewer semi-detached townhomes and single-detached homes being built, and it's going to get worse. So what we will have is a degree of scarcity moving forward, and that pushes prices up as usual. But you have to question just how good the value is, particularly for first-time homebuyers. And as much as our urban planners want to push density, everybody needs to live in a high-rise. We've got millions of people in Canada, and a lot of them in Toronto, whose perspective is, I don't want my aspirational home to be a high-rise, I want to live in a low-rise. That may not be financially possible, but it's my aspirational goal. And because we've developed such an enormous scarcity in low-rise housing, that effectively puts a floor on pricing. There's another legitimate question for any home buyer right now. Do I jump in soon on the assumption that bidding wars will return and prices will go through the roof? Or do I sit back and wait until we get to the rock bottom of rates? Because that enhances affordability? It would be almost impossible for me or anyone else, I would hope, to provide a correct answer in this regard unless we have a time machine. But the honest answer is no one knows. And like I always say, don't try to time the market. If there's an opportunity to buy today, go for it. My name is Fuad Abasov. You can reach me at 647-801-3401 or email me at sold@fuadhomes.com. Thanks for watching and see you next time.